Good morning. Today is the feast day of Saint Charles Lwanga and companions, a group of Ugandan martyrs from the 1860s, canonized by Pope Paul VI in the 1960s. And Saint Charles was a court official to the king in Uganda and had kind of a natural sense of doing what was right. He was known for protecting the younger boys kind of in the king's court from the king's predatory advances, if you will. I don't know why it is that pagan kings, that's a thing for them. But it was through the evangelization of the missionaries coming from Europe, both Anglican, but also the White Fathers from France, who came down and preached the gospel. And it was through the proclamation of the gospel that St. Charles desired baptism. And because of that, because he was baptized along with his companions, as well as those that were baptized by the Anglicans, he received the reward of the crown of martyrs from his king, because he saw that, of course, as a betrayal. And it's interesting, right, because he probably knew that that was going to happen. He said, okay, I'll be baptized, but I know that the king's going to kill me. What faith, what strength, what power. Last night at Mass, I was talking about some of the martyrs who died for the sake of the Eucharist, and just the power of that. And would we be willing to do the same? Would we be willing to say, yes, Lord, I will follow you and unite myself to your death? I will follow you just as the son of the vineyard owner was sent. He knew that he would be killed, but he went anyway. Will I follow you to the point of death? Will I reject all the ways of the world, the comforts, the pleasures, to say, yes, Lord, I want to follow you and only you? It's a really hard question. I've been pondering it over the last evening. Would I really just say, okay, that's fine, kill me? You know, St. Charles, he could have said, well, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be baptized, but I'm going to get killed. And so the desire's there. Is that good enough? Maybe it would have been, but a more perfect thing was baptism and being united to Christ in his death. Let us pray that we may all be united to Christ in his resurrection, that we may all be united to Christ in his ascension, that we may all be united to Christ in heaven. These martyrs were, 150 years ago? Ish? A little more? Ish. Is that how you describe your age, Mike? Yeah, okay, good. You know, we have modern day martyrs to this day, right? In Africa, right? In Nigeria, Boko Haram regularly targets Christians. In the Middle East especially, right? Palestine, that's the territories in Israel where most of the Christians live or used to live. A lot of them have fled because they were getting caught up between the conflicts between the Jews and the Muslims. But there's still a handful that live there. Iraq, right? There used to be a lot of Christians there. There aren't anymore. In China, different parts of Asia, there's still persecution. Like where people lose their lives. We fear persecution. We say, oh gosh, yeah, it's politically incorrect to be Christian. Okay, well, it's politically incorrect to be Christian, but we still have the freedom of speech to say what is true and to say what we believe. But in other parts of the world, there are people that die. People that die for their faith. We have the comfort of being able to just be uncomfortable with our faith, making others uncomfortable. But what happens if, in time, it becomes legal? becomes possible that we be persecuted in real ways, will we stand fast in our faith? The opening prayer, the martyrs are the water on the field that is the church. They give us hope, they give us inspiration. You recognize that just as the early martyrs of the early church, they died for the same faith. They died for the faith that has been handed down 2,000 years so that we may have that same faith. May we have the strength to be willing to die for it as well, so that we may hand it down for another 2,000 years. Let us ask the Lord that He would strengthen us, that He would give us the grace to do His will at all times, and that we may all be united to Him in a happy death, so that we may be united to Him in His resurrection.